The last concept we're gonna talk about is crossing your Red Sea. If you don't know the story, basically, Pharaoh was oppressing people. So Moses was sent to free them. And on the way to free them, they had to escape, right? But they were facing the sea. So what Moses did is he split the sea in two. And they had to cross that Red Sea just to escape Pharaoh. They had no choice but to cross that sea, even though it may have collapsed. And eventually it collapsed, but it didn't collapse on them. It collapsed on Pharaoh and his army. So that sea just represents doubt, fear, anxiety, and apathy. On your way to change your reality, you're gonna face those. I'm not one of those spiritual people that will tell you that everything will be good, everything will be fine, and you need to feel good 24/7. No. As we talked before, the darkness is normal. It's just the phase before the sunrise. It's just the pendulum swing on the other side. On your way up, you will fear those. The only way you can bypass it is just come into the awareness that it is your Red Sea to cross. Because how many times that doubt stopped you from going up to that guy or that girl? How many times fear has stopped you from starting that business or from going to the next level? How many times anxiety just put you down and you didn't move? How many times were you apathetic, where you really didn't care where your life will go? Well, what if I told you that that was your test where you needed to cross the Red Sea? You needed to do it despite the fact of feeling those emotions. And it takes awareness. Once you feel doubt, it takes awareness to be grateful in doubt. When you feel fear, it takes awareness to go from fear to faith. That's how Jesus was able to be grateful even if Lazarus wasn't resurrected yet. He was grateful before it, even though he was in the darkness. Same as you, crossing your Red Sea, even if you feel those emotions, you still need to go forward. And the way you keep going forward is just by having a sense of awareness of what's going on. Yes, it's normal you feel like shit, but the way you make out of it, do not dwell on it and you understand it for what it is. It is just your Red Sea. It's fine if nothing is working, just keep going. Because it's your Red Sea to cross. You cannot go to the promised land if you don't beat those emotions. And those emotions represent Pharaoh. Pharaoh was oppressing the chosen people. And Pharaoh represents doubt, fear, anxiety, apathy. And they escaped by crossing the Red Sea. And there is a more scientific explanation to this. And it's nothing more than energetic equilibrium. Energetic equilibrium is just basically what frequency the universe puts you on. If your identity is somebody that is always struggling, as soon as you try to not struggle anymore, as soon as you try to make some effort, you're gonna get met by friction. And it's normal. It's totally normal to get met by friction. But the problem with people, they let that friction stop them. They have like one failure, they give up everything, not knowing that that was just the start of a friction. That was just the start of your Red Sea. All you need to do is just like taking one step after the other, and eventually you will cross the Red Sea. Eventually you will break that energetic equilibrium. Telling you, reality creation is so simple, it's not difficult. The only reason it's difficult is because you don't understand it. But once you see those concepts, you can literally achieve whatever you want in the easiest way. And one more thing to make everything way easier. On your way to change your identity, you're gonna face your old identity. Your identity will appear, it will fight back just because of the energetic equilibrium. And that energetic equilibrium is nothing more than your old identity fighting back. When bad circumstances happen to you, you have two choices. One, you choose your old identity and you stay stuck, or you choose your new identity and you keep moving forward. So, which one you're gonna feed? Because the more you feed the old identity, the more you're gonna stay there. But the more you feed your new identity, the quicker it's gonna form. So let's say, for example, you decided you're gonna change your life and you start improving, right? And then you hit your first wall. your old identity will tell you, here we go again, it will never happen for us. I told you you're gonna fail, why keep going? That's exactly how your old identity speaks. He's gonna bring you a lot of negativity just because he doesn't wanna die. And the way you beat it is by embodying the new identity. Simple as that. You hit your first L. What's the version of yourself that is already successful will say? Will you say keep going? Or will you say give up everything? If you hear give up everything, that's just your old identity talking. The only reason it's talking is because you're about to kill him. Simple as that. The more you embody the new identity, the quicker it's gonna form. The more you go past those L, you eventually gonna get a win. The only way you cannot get a win is if you stop. And the reason you stop is because you decided to listen to your old identity. So again, every time you feel friction, ask yourself, which one I'm gonna feed? Am I gonna feed the old identity or I'm gonna feed the new identity? And manifestation comes down to this, embodying the version of yourself that already has it. Simple as that. The more you embody yourself of the version of yourself you has it, the more you are, eventually the action you will take will flow. And if the action you take will flow, it's impossible to avoid the result. You're either gonna get the result you want or the result you do not want. The way you get the result you want is by fixing your identity. And now, since you already know how to fix your identity, your action is gonna flow effortlessly. And you're gonna have the result you always wanted. Simple as that. And if you need help with a particular situation, link in the description.